Hello and welcome to 20 Good Summers, or welcome back to 20 Good Summers if you are one of our longtime listeners. Like whole month of listening to us. My God.
What? This is real. This is episode 8.
Yes.
2 months.
Oh my God. That's a really long time.
Just 1 second. Who are you?
Oh, I'm so sorry. I forgot. I always assume that everybody is like watching this and knows exactly why they're watching it. You're watching it because I am your host, Paulina Poroskova, and this man in a mint green shirt with no hair next to me is my dearly beloved fiance.
Jeff Greenstein. Okay.
I know.
I know. We'll get it right. We'll get it right at some point.
Very wobbly beginning today. First of all, we again, for those of you who are not watching this on YouTube, we have changed rooms
Another
once
change
again.
of venue.
This
could be my favorite room in the house.
I know. This is a really lovely room that we don't use very much. This is where I have my piano, like right here on the side.
Over here.
And there is a snoring dog. There is gurgling water in the pipes. There is
Very
weird
New York. Yeah.
snow and traffic from the outside.
Yeah, what a change. We recorded last week, and it was this glorious, spectral summer that we had.
Oh my God, we were in the garden in our bathrobes,
It was
right?
amazing. And then
Here we are back in, back in what to me it feels like real life. New York is real life, like real
And
weather.
LA is fake life.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's fake.
where I
Yeah.
lived for 35 years.
Yeah, it's fake. It's wonderfully fake, like like a really lovely TV series.
Right, exactly.
Yeah, everything is nice, and there's always orange juice and oranges on the trees, and everybody has breakfast, and they're all so peppy, and they go to sleep early, and nobody drinks. Well, we're back in New York where things are normal.
Yes, gotcha. My goodness, I forget how we were going to lead this baby off.
For those of you who can't see us, again, I just have to let you know.
Oh, yes.
I am currently wearing a sweatshirt with squirrels holding cameras.
Do you want to talk about where that sweatshirt came from? Because people seem to ask about it whenever you wear it. You wore it during one of your hip replacement episodes, and people were very curious about it.
Oh, well, this specific one was found by a very special person in my life, namely you.
Yes, here's the story. P has a sweatshirt that has raccoon faces. The whole pattern is raccoon faces.
And it's so raccoon face that you can't tell right away that it's raccoon faces. It just kind of looks like a pattern until you look a little closer.
It's so
cool. That's the word you're looking for.
I was
so
going to
cool.
say it is so tacky.
What?
That it loops around tackiness back around to cool. Right? And it's not just because the woman who's wearing it is beautiful. It's a really remarkable piece of kitsch.
You know what? That must be who I am. Like, I'm so tacky that I become cool because
Exactly.
I pretty much love all of that.
Yeah. So I took a look to see if there were any other sweatshirts by this maker. I guess there's going to be a run on this if I say the name of the maker. Should I do it anyway?
The problem is that they don't exist
They
anymore.
don't exist anymore. But the name of the maker is All Things Fabulous. And so I started doing searches on eBay for All Things Fabulous, and I found all of these crazy sweatshirts. And of course, a sweatshirt where a squirrel is holding what appears to be a vintage film camera. I'm touching you inappropriately. But anyway,
you're welcome
what's better than that? So I got you this sweatshirt from eBay.
Oh, for those of you who don't know about Jeff is I'm gonna call it amateur photographer.
I am an amateur.
Like he just loves he loves to photograph, but more than anything, he loves cameras.
I do. I love vintage film cameras, and as a matter of fact, any experience I have as a podcaster comes from 5 years of doing a podcast with my friend Gabe called I Dream of Cameras, where we talk about vintage film cameras for an hour.
Yeah, for like 100 episodes, they've been
Yes.
talking about vintage cameras. 100 episodes,
Yes,
you guys. It's
true.
amazing.
It's amazing.
Anyway, guess what?
Wait, Pete guessed it. But if you're a fan of Paulina Poroskova and you want to hear her talk about modeling from the point of view of the model, we did an episode 69 of I Dream of Cameras. It's all you.
It doesn't sound. Well, that's kind of like how I think everybody's used to thinking of it. Well, I'm listening to it from the point of view of a model. But this was a more interesting talk because Gabe, Jeff's partner,
yeah.
and also one of his best friends, who really does love to photograph and is a very good photographer, was asking me questions from the photographer's point of view. So I was responding as a model to a photographer, and that made the conversation really different from any kind of an interview that I've actually ever done before. So I do think if you're interested in the pure like sort of technicality of what it's like to be in front of a camera, that is a really good one to look up.
It is really good. Look at that. We're cross-promoting.
Oh my God! Wait, isn't there a word for this in like TV land?
Synergy is the word.
Really? I thought there was like.
That's it.
Oh,
Sorry,
okay.
it's not.
Never
It's
mind.
not more interesting than that.
No.
Okay, we're gonna get to our topic for this episode, darling. Would you like to roll out
Well,
what today's topic is?
the topic is kind of it's kind of like a little knot with threads coming out of it, unraveling from it. So it's not a tight topic per se. I think
Yes.
it's a little bit of a a loose ball.
It's a loose aggregation of. Okay, I'm
Of-
not even.
of-
I was going to
of
tell
things.
a really dumb joke, which I'm not going to do. Okay.
Because then we're gonna have to cut it out.
Exactly.
Oh, okay.
Here's the thing. We've done a series of episodes now. I don't even number them anymore, where we talk about dating and maybe the prelude to dating, going on a dating app. I feel from our legions of emailers that we seem to have given a lot of people like the boldness to go out there on a dating app or get on one if they hadn't wanted to previously, to draw an accurate portrait of themselves that they put out there and so forth. So that was very exciting. So we have done a series of episodes where we kind of use the framework of our own experience to talk about kind of the.
And you guys,
yes.
I mean, you might think that we are awfully up our own butts, and it's true, we
you'd
are.
be right.
Because we're not therapists, and we actually have absolutely no credentials whatsoever to be
Yes.
giving anybody advice. And I would say that even extends to like our children and our like we really should not be giving advice.
Correct.
And just because we got lucky right now and we think we've got the world figured out, that just means for us at the moment, for now, as I
Yes,
like to
for
say.
now.
For
is,
now.
What? How do you say for now in Czech?
Oh my God, I don't know. Like you're asking me to convert into a different language, like
All right. Well,
momentania.
there you go. Okay.
It's kind
that.
of like for the moment.
Right, exactly. Whenever in the early going, I would talk about how blissfully happy I was, and oh my God, isn't it wonderful that we found each other? You would always append.
For now.
Yeah.
But that's because that is my life. Is it a motto? It's like
Yeah.
it's what I live by, which is nothing lasts. And lest you think that this is depressing, let me reassure you, nothing lasts means that when things are bad, you can just keep it's my mantra. You can keep repeating nothing lasts, nothing lasts, nothing lasts. Like you might wake up tomorrow and things might look better. And when things are great, the nothing lasts is wonderful because you are so insanely grateful for the good that you are experiencing at the moment. So for me, this really works. For a lot of Americans, this seems kind of like a downer, but for me, it reminds me to be grateful, like every moment I'm taking a breath. And when I'm in pain, well, then just hold on because
Yes.
it'll get better.
Yes. You made it sound bright. The way that you did it just now
you.
did not seem bleak at all. It seemed actually very close to a Latin phrase, which unfortunately was ruined by a Robin Williams movie, Carpe Diem.
Oh, love Carpe Diem.
yes.
Well, isn't one of like my early childhood crushes? Isn't
Julius
Carpe?
Caesar.
Yeah.
Yeah, Julius Caesar. We have a little figurine. You can't see it from here, but a little figurine
I
of
think
Julius
he's downstairs
Caesar. Oh,
right
he
now.
is downstairs
because
now.
on that little figurine, which is from Asterix and Obelix, which is a French cartoon that I loved when I was a kid, Julius Caesar kind of looks like a cranky old man, but I always found him really sexy. And it turns out Jeff has his nose.
Is that true?
Yeah, totally.
Weirdly, when people talk about my stereotypic nose, they rarely bring up Julius Caesar. They bring up something else. I don't know why. Anyway.
Yeah, I don't know
Wow,
either.
have we drum rolled this for 9.5 minutes? Okay. Here's what we want to start out by talking about. Shall I?
Shall you read the email, please,
Yes, this is
darling?
what I'm going to do. Okay, so, we love your emails. We'll talk about how you get in touch with us a little later in the
At
episode.
the end of the
but
program. And
this was an email we got. Okay, watch me do this. Okay, all right. This is from Sherry. We only use your first names, and we occasionally have to abridge a few syllables of your Deathless prose. Okay, here we go.
Deathless prose was coming.
Here
I was
we
just
go.
waiting for it.
Sherry says, after praising us, the other thing we don't do is retweet praise. Okay. She says, my question to you is, how long after you guys met did you tell each other you loved each other, and who said it first? She's talking about her own experience. Can I keep going?
Yes, please. I want to know her experience.
Okay. She says, she's talking about our podcast. She's a 60-year-old woman who's been dating for 10 plus years and recently met someone who is 62 that she can see a future with. And she was on a dating site called Plenty of Fish. Do you know this dating site?
Wow, this is one I wasn't on. How cool.
I feel like I've heard of it. And good for you, Sherry, for succeeding on that. Anyway, she says, he told me he loved me after 2 weeks. Is that possible? And I'm not there yet. I like him a lot, but I don't love him yet. And I don't want to feel pressured to say those words till I mean it. He knows this and says he's confident I will get there. So just curious how that unfolded for you guys if you have time to share. Okay, and then she says nice things about us, which I'm also not going to share, but we appreciate you, Sherry. Darling,
we really appreciate you.
who's
And you
gonna
know
roll
what?
out this story?
This is such a good.
It is.
There is so much to unpack within this one question. So Sherry, you really provided us with a lot of fodder, and thank you so much for this. Oh dear. Okay, where to even start?
Where to start? Should we talk about how it went for us?
Yeah, we can start off with how, like, what happened with us, and then I guess we'll maybe just naturally roll into the other segments. Go ahead.
Okay, as you guys know, we count these long extended stays with one another as dates. Okay,
So like one date could be 3 days, 5 days, 10 days.
In many cases, I mean, as things go on, a date became 6 months.
Yeah.
Because we were together all the time, right? It was an uninterrupted stretch of time. Our first date was 3 days.
Yes.
Our second date was 5 days.
Correct.
Okay. One of the things we did on the second date, it's funny. We made good work of those 5 days because we talked about, as we mentioned in a previous episode, we did the test. Right? We did the test where you look at your past relationships versus the relationships of your critical caregivers and you compare and contrast. We did that.
Parenting test, which I believe is in episode 4.
Correct. We talked about finances. That's another thing that we talked about.
Finances.
Go ahead.
And we talked about where we our future, where we wanted to be, what our priorities were.
Yes, we did. That was an ongoing discussion as we were getting to know one another about talking about the paths our lives had taken and the paths we wanted our lives together to take.
But very early on, like
Yes.
all of this is like second date, he meets my son, I meet his brother.
That's right.
Date 3, he meets my other son. Just know they were fully grown men, so it's
Yes.
obviously easier that
But
way.
we were moving forward. Here's another thing we did. One evening, we played each other pieces of music that were significant to us.
That's right.
Now, we went back. You played me can I share about this piece of music?
Yeah,
about
sure, go ahead.
Smetana? Can I share about that?
Yes,
Okay,
yes,
can
yes.
you talk about what this piece of music is?
Okay, so for all of you who are not Czech that are listening to this, which I believe is probably most of you, there is a composer named Bedřich Smetana. Yes, very, very hard to pronounce. But he wrote a piece back in the 19th century called Má vlast, which is translated to Moldau, because it's about the river Vltava, which goes through the Czech Republic, Czechia, whatever the hell they call
Prague
it.
lies astride the Vltava River.
Correct, with a Vyšehrad castle sort of above it. And this river, because it goes through our entire nation, the musical piece is it's a musical poem about this river winding through our country, my home country. Oh, sorry, Jeff's phone's ringing.
You know what that
my
is?
phone is ringing.
This is my phone. And you know what it is? It's my sister. And she's going to be so mad that I'm doing this. Sorry, Jill.
Jill,
All right, there you go.
just interrupted our podcast.
She's
Moving
one of
on.
the few people where Do Not Disturb does not apply to her. How about that, Jill? Do you feel better? Okay, anyway, please continue.
Anyway, so it's a poem, a lyric, no, a musical poem.
It's a tone poem.
A tone poem. Okay. And so in this moment where Jeff and I are like laying back on the couch and we're playing each other like really significant, great songs that mean a lot to us, and they're not necessarily like our favorite songs, but like music
Meaningful.
that is really significant to us. I said, this is about my country, and so I played him this piece, and
Right.
I sort of narrated like, now it's starting in the little mountain stream, like the way I learned in school. It's a little stream up in the mountains, little clear water is trickling down, and then it goes by fields, and oh look, there's a wedding, there's a Moravian wedding, and there's the hay, and then it keeps going, and then it ends up in like sort of a stormy, majestic, beautiful ending of Prague Castle and Vyšehrad, and it's like the seat of the nation, and it gets very big and bombastic and and it always gives me goosebumps.
And
Anyway,
the thing about this piece, I'll just say a piece of
Go
musical
ahead.
trivia about this piece. It's a very beautiful piece of music, and I urge you to seek it out. This piece, one of the central themes of it is based on an old Spanish folk song. And coincidentally, this same Spanish folk song was the source of the Israeli national anthem, Hatikva. So I recognized this tune, which goes ba-da-da-da-da-da, da-da-da-da-da. So it was really interesting to see this intersection of cultures in this beautiful piece. So she plays me this. She plays me a Jonathan Richman song that she loves. I play her a Young Marble Giant song that I
Correct.
love. We go back and forth. We discover all of this commonality in music that we love. And she introduces me. I didn't know Smetana. I did not know Smetana. So we're going back and forth. And then she plays me Maybe I'm Amazed by Paul McCartney. Guys, you can't play this song to a person that you are becoming besotted with. You can't do that. You can't do that. So I'm listening to this song and I'm looking at how amazed I am by this extraordinary woman who has come into my life mere weeks before. And I feel this surge.
mind you, this is date two.
It's day 2. Okay, but we had talked for
a
5
month.
or 6 weeks, but it's not that far into the thing. And I look at her, and I think I said something along the lines of, let's just say it. And you waved me off.
I looked at his face, and I saw him well up. I saw his whole
I was
face
very
just
emotional.
fell like well up with so much feeling, and his eyes were like glistening, and he's looking at me, and I know what comes next. I know what he wanted to say next. And I just like literally did one of those like movie things where you stick your hand right in front of their face and you go, no.
She was like
Stop.
the third base coach waving me back to second. Like, don't advance. Don't advance.
Oh, no.
And you know what? I took the note.
That's
I
right.
took the note. This was...
You swallowed the words.
I did. I socked it away. It's interesting because in the weeks that followed, we circled this idea. Because remember, we're still bi-coastal at this point. I'm dividing my time between New York and LA. You came to see me in LA. I come to see you in New York. We would go back and forth. And I remember you talking to me about being wary of 2 things. One, infatuation. Know the difference between infatuation, when a person is devouring your thoughts, right? Your every thought is of them because they're so fascinating, you just can't wait to spend more time with them. And I would like you to speak to this term because, to be honest, I had never heard this term before I met you.
He had never heard of the term love bombing.
Can you talk about what that is and your experience thereof? We
Well-
have some time here.
Love bombing. Love bombing is when one of the 2 parts just is completely over the top, paying the kind of attention and speaking and the words and all of this is sort of wrapped in the most passionate and romantic and wild and sexy and like, it's like you're getting that the movie story, the fairy tale, the opera. They look at each other from across from a crowded room and they know it's love. And then he just walks over to her and enfolds her in his arm and he says, I've been waiting for you my whole life. I love you.
This
Within
all
like
sounds
5
great.
seconds.
Wait, this all sounds fantastic. What is wrong with that?
What could be wrong with
What
that?
could be wrong with that? This is sincerely me. I did not know this term and I did not understand why being swamped with a tidal wave of attention and devotion would
Passion
be
and
passion.
romance.
What's wrong with that? What's wrong with that?
Well, okay, what's wrong with it? And now I'm just going to take a step back into my own history because this is how I learned that this was actually a terrible idea because I loved the same thing. When I was 19 years old, love bombing was the way to get my attention. And I don't think I have to really go into even that much about like how when I met my husband, I mean, love bombing times 2 for him because we did look at each other across a crowded room and we were drawn together like there was like a magnet between us. And I looked at him and I thought, oh my God, I've been waiting for this man like my whole 19-year-old life. And I feel like I've already been married to him. I already feel like I know him. Like this is it. And apparently he felt the same way. And he came and he sat down right next to me, and his hand sort of weirdly ended up on my leg within the first 5 minutes of meeting each other. And I think it was like that was it. It's like, oh, I've been waiting for you. Now, it's so wonderfully romantic, and it seemed so incredible at that moment, and some years past that. It's only much later on in life, and this is with my experience number 2, where I also met a man. I was very, very sad and very lonely.
You were very vulnerable at that point.
And I was incredibly vulnerable.
And you had been, I would say, in the desert for some time.
I had been wandering with an empty cup in the desert, sort of like tinkling my spoon on the cup, saying, water, please, and there, nobody was there to give me any water. And then all of a sudden, this small man appears and
with a fire hose.
Exactly. A fire hose on our... So we didn't do dating like you and I. So like a date was just an evening. On our 3rd dinner date, he told me he loved me. And I thought, oh, yes, this is it. Finally. And this is going to be my next great love. He says he loves me. I didn't feel that way yet, so I couldn't say anything back.
Yeah, what did you do then?
Actually,
you weren't there yet.
It was really strange because I didn't feel the same way. And I can't lie, but yet the moment was so, it gets so awkward when you don't say it back. If somebody says, I can't hold back anymore, I'm just going to have to say it, I love you. And you go, thank you. It's a little tepid, and it's probably not what that love bomber is looking for.
But maybe they don't... Maybe you're a supporting character in their playlet, and so you don't even have to say it back. You just have to keep receiving it and be magnetized by that attention.
Here's the problem. I mean, guys, really, when you first meet someone, how long do you think it takes you to truly know someone and hence truly fall in love or step in love or love them? Do you think that takes 2 dinner dates? Do you think that takes 3 dinner dates? Do you think it takes 3 months of like sometimes hanging out to actually know that, I mean, I love you to me is such a significant phrase. And okay, and this, okay, I'm going to trail off a little bit.
Go ahead.
Here. But as a European, in Czech, if you say, I love you, milujte, you sound like an idiot. Like nobody says that to anybody.
Why?
Because it sort of feels like an overwrought romantic Victorian novel.
What are you saying? No boy says that to any girl. No girl says that to.
No.
What do they say instead?
We say, "I like you."
It isn't like in French.
Well, in France, it's funny because they don't say. Well, you can say "je t'aime," but to say I like you, you say je t'aime bien, which means I like you well. I mean, I love you well, and that means I like you. It's weirdly a little bit backwards.
Can I just step to the side because this is something we never want. We've been together a little over 3 years, and I'm wary, we both are,
Yes.
of the reflexive, I love you too.
Yeah, like when you're like going out to the grocery store, you're going out
Love
to work,
you.
love you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know, love you too. That means nothing.
Right. And we, both having been in long-term relationships, saw how that pronouncement, which is so profound, could become robbed of meaning and just become a rote way of saying, see ya.
Yeah, it's basically bye.
Right. And so we
Or hi.
really tried. I'm not sure we're as good at this these days because I'm just not sure we're as good at this. But we didn't, they were early on, like if I said I love you, you would not always say it back and vice versa. We would take it in. We would
Right.
take it in and show in our eyes that we were feeling what it meant to be told that, but we didn't bleh it back.
Yeah, so it wasn't
reflexively.
it wasn't a repeat. It wasn't like I vomit on you and then you vomit back on me. How about that for a
Exactly.
romantic?
Beautiful. What a beautiful Eastern European way of describing a loving engagement. Okay, but we started doing this thing. We've tailed off with this recently, but we started saying, I like you well,
like in French.
Like in French.
Yeah, we just translate
because
the
we
French.
did not want it to become rote. Okay, please go ahead. So you got... go ahead.
so
you
I-
don't
so-
know each other
So
well enough after 3
you
dinner
look
dates.
you just you don't. And so this man that where I experienced really like the first time the love bombing, and of course I didn't know about that this was called love bombing at the time either. That I learned it when I actually went out and started dating, and I learned that he wasn't the only man to do that. Like guys actually would do that. The last guy that I went out with before Jeff, really, I went on like 4 dates with him. He thought we were in a relationship. And the reason that I cut the relationship short, too, was because he wrote me a 3-page, single-spaced document proclaiming his undying love for me. We had been on 3 fucking dates.
Not cool, man.
It's just
This goes to, okay, we're going to...
honesty and authenticity. And for me, I have such trust issues anyway. For somebody to claim they love me without actually having spent a whole lot of time with me, without having seen me at my worst, and they've only gotten the sort of the glitzy, made up, flirtatious part, and they say I love you. That means they love that. They love the very shiniest part of me. And that, my friends, that's not love. And so if you think that that's love and that's worthy of saying, I love you, you're not for me.
Well, this is very interesting in light of something that I think we have touched on in these conversations, which is the idea that, and you were subjected to this a lot, I was in a very different way, but people cherry picking the parts of you they find most delightful and finding the rest of you, the actual substrate, the part that you live upon, to be kind of an interesting quirk or an inconvenience.
Yeah.
And so I could totally understand someone who has been judged based on their outer shell for the bulk of her life. For someone to say, I love you, and I'm devoted. They're responding to the shiny shell. I'm agreeing with what you're saying.
Yeah.
They're clearly responding, and they haven't taken the time to get to know the whole of you. And they're not particularly interested because they've already made their decision. These are countless reasons to distrust that narrator.
Now, when you're 20, this is all very romantic. And this
Yes.
is what we learn in culture, right? This is what we learn from movies and love songs and TV and art. And then from all
Anywhere that
sides,
things are wuthering.
Exactly.
Yes.
This is what we learned, that this is what love is. And oh God, the butterflies and the drama and the passion and the I love yous are just, wow. I mean, it's just like, it's like it's a tornado. If you still think that at 60, you're in big trouble, because that's the difference between dating now and dating 40 years ago, is that you should have learned at this point that all of that sort of early, passionate, crazy stuff is fun, but it's not necessarily, it sometimes and often is just your childhood trauma calling you back.
Or it's infatuation, or it's
Correct.
sexual attraction, or it's how being with someone pretty and fabulous
Or it's
makes you
objectification.
feel about you. It's objectification.
She's hot. So,
Exactly.
like, being with her makes me look really good. Oh, he's really powerful. Being with him makes me enviable. I mean, should I tell this story about how that ex talked about me? Which I find is really sad, actually.
I don't want to give this guy more airtime.
You're right.
You can be shorthanded, please.
Shorthanded just being that this is like he liked to tell his story about meeting me was like walking into one of those New York apartments where an old lady had died and she had owned the apartment for like 50 years. So it's really neglected, but it's got these great bones. And he was talking like about me as though I was that apartment. Now, the shocking part here is not that so much because that's, a guy that should really move on from me, but that I thought it was adorable. That's the problem.
I'd like to. We haven't even gotten to when we actually did say it, but
I would, before we go there,
Yes.
I would really, because you had a propensity for saying I love you much
this is,
earlier than.
I don't know that
than
that's
me.
necessarily true, but
Well, you were ready to serve it up to me on the
I
second
was definitely
date.
ready to serve it up to you, and you were right to wave me back to second base because we were not ready for that, and we did not know. Okay, let me ask you a question.
Mm-hmm.
I think I already know what your answer to this will be. Can you say "I love you" to someone with whom you've never had a fight?
Well, here's that really confusing American standard again. I can say I love you to somebody I've just met like briefly in a restaurant. I can go love you.
I don't mean that kind. You know what I'm saying. I'm talking about a sincere pronouncement of love. Can you actually say that in a way that's meaningful in the context of a nascent relationship?
I don't. Well, you know my answer. I believe not.
You don't know all the dimensions of that person.
I think you can say I think I'm in love with you. I think that's okay.
Yeah, you and I
because that's kind of
also-
like an infatuation thing. I'm in love with you means I'm infatuated.
Okay, we had
I'm
a
not
funny.
thinking straight.
Let's step to the side here. God, I'm trying to keep so many things in the queue.
Darling,
We-
you're so good at that,
well,
the way.
we'll find out.
Which is hot.
Thanks,
Even if you
lady.
forget a couple.
We'll see. We were having a conversation. We were in Charleston on a trip. We went to a wine bar, and we were so enmeshed in this particular conversation that we practically got our server to sit down with us to talk about this question, because it turned out you and I had a very different take on this. I believe that I'm in love with you and I love you are two radically different things. And to me, I'm in love with you has a lot to do with I'm infatuated with your outer shell. And it is not a statement of like, we are building something together. It is entirely, I'm in my own head and I love how you make me feel. Does that, but we
Wait,
had,
I
what?
disagreed with that?
Well, I think that I came around to your point of view since we had that conversation.
Because I was going to say, but wait, you're just quoting me
What
right
I
now.
said originally that got the server to sit down with us is I said that to me, at this point, this was a little while ago, in love meant we are building something together. When you say two people are in love, they are involved in the construction of an edifice together. They are building a relationship together. You said you did not feel that was the
No,
case.
they're
You felt
blowing
it was-
bubbles. They're making air castles. They're making cloud palaces. It's all just dreams.
It's all superficial
Yeah.
and right. Yes.
I mean, and just because it's light and airy and superficial doesn't mean that it's bad and that it's not going to turn into real brick and mortar.
It
It's just
could.
at the moment,
Yes.
it's all just
Yeah, it's all made of gossamer and lace.
exactly
yeah.
gossamer and bubbles.
Yes. I'd be interested to hear what our listeners think about this. Is there a difference? Some people don't think there's a difference between saying I love you and saying I'm in love with you. Okay, but to come back,
And
yes.
also, now that you've come around
come
to my
around.
way of looking at
Yes.
it, also I think thank you to the server in
Charleston.
Charleston
Yes, thank
because
you.
I think she was also on my side.
She was absolutely on your side.
Would you say that you love me and that you're in love with me?
I think both. Well, at this point, I feel it's a fully three-dimensional relationship. So yes, I believe both things are true.
It's like the what is it called? The Holy Trinity, the Father, the Son, the Holy
Yes.
Ghost.
Yeah.
Well, what's a Trinity though? Because it's just I love you, I'm in love with you, and
And I'd like to have sexual intercourse with you. Those are the three.
I didn't know that. Okay.
What?
Well, no, but like
did you
I
think
love
the third
I love you
was?
does not have to include I want to have sex with you. But I think in love with you kind of means I want some nookie.
Okay. See, this is all very interesting. I think it's all very interesting and very idiosyncratic. I want to move to the second thing in the queue that I meant to bring up.
Okay.
I want to go back to love bombing for a minute. Okay?
Yes. That dirty word.
This is another thing I did not understand because, as I said, I had never heard the term before. Correct me when I say something, when I
will.
depart from the track. Love bombing is a strategy deployed by narcissists to get what?
No, keep going.
It is a strategy deployed by narcissists to draw you in, to make you feel that you're at the center of their universe. And then gradually, I'm sorry to use this metaphor, they gradually withdraw the nipple so that you are always searching for that initial feeling you had at the outset. It's very slow. It's instinctual. These people are like animals, right? It's not that they know.
It's not.
They
Yeah,
don't
it's not
know
manipulating
how to
it.
do it. It's an instinctual strategy that narcissists have learned. Give them 100,000%, then back it off slowly. So by the time it gets to the 80s, the 70s, they think it's going to come back. So they are bonded to you because they're desperately searching for what entranced them to begin with. Did I explain that is that in any way right?
Darling, that was absolutely brilliant, and sadly, in
Oh.
my case, also 100% accurate.
Oh,
Because those
okay.
who love bombed were absolutely people with narcissistic tendencies where the falling in love was all about them and how it made them feel, and it
Yeah.
had nothing at all to do with me.
You were an interesting bauble.
Oh, I
that
was
they would
apparently the
pin
old
to their
apartment that
jacket.
was great to grab a hold of before anybody else did.
Yes.
There you go. So, yes. But okay, and here's a question for you. When
Oh.
you are, 50 and over, and you meet the person and you just know, again, you have all this experience. You are no longer feeling the creepy crawlies when you meet this person. You feel like the sun has come up when you're in their presence, which is what love feels like
Yes.
to me. How long do you have to wait to say I love you? Like if you feel it right away, if you both look at each other and there's like this really strong feeling that because you have been through the mill, because you have dated, because you have experienced so much. It's kind of like I've tasted all the food out there and I have just found the one I was looking for. So how long do you wait?
Longer than I used to.
Yeah. So how long? Okay, so come on. Let's
What?
hear a little bit about. I want to humiliate yourself a little bit about
Why?
how you would say I love you on the first date.
What, are we going all the way back to the woman I married?
Yes, sure. Go back to as far as you'd like, but just give us some good juicy stories about Jeff saying I love you way too early.
Really?
Yes, because I actually never did. I always held back until I
Well,
knew
you're
that I
smarter.
loved
We've
back.
established you're the smart one in this
No, but then I
relationship.
fell in love with people that I really shouldn't have fallen in love with, that were not for me.
Let me just say this without going to, you're going to probably draw it out of me anyway, but I would say it too soon. I would mistake infatuation and fascination and attraction for love. And I also, this is such a side road, but I did believe sincerely until this relationship that love was contingent on performance. That every other partner I had was drawn to me because of the snap and the crackle, he's funny, or oh, he's a good writer, or
He's brilliant.
The same way, sorry, I'm going to try and not make this just about me and how fab I am. The same way a lot of the people who were drawn to you were drawn to the snap and the crackle of she's beautiful, she's a supermodel, she's on magazine covers, And so I became, I didn't understand what a love without that might look like. You know, the phrase unconditional love gets thrown out around a lot. Your love for your child should be unconditional. The love that your puppy, where is he? He's right here. You can't, I don't know if you can see him, but he's right there. The love that your dog has for you is unconditional. Of course, that's contingent on performance because it means keep feeding me.
Yeah.
But
Because if he's dead, he won't be able
he's
to
dead,
love
he won't
you.
be able to love you. But this is a kind of a different story that happens a little later in our relationship. But you expressed to me after we had been together several months what love truly meant to you, and that there was an enduring, an unshakable strength and power to it. And I had never felt that nor experienced. I didn't believe it was possible. This is all sounding very Catrali. I'm sorry, but I don't think I understood what it could be. God, I don't think I expressed that very well.
I feel like you expressed that really well. And for those of you, again, who are not watching this on YouTube, he's gotten quite emotional and his eyes are a little bit shiny.
I know. Well, whenever...
It's so sweet.
Yeah. When did we actually... We're 40 minutes in, man.
See how easy this
I know.
is?
I know.
My God.
Okay.
You can't shut us up.
So you said... I want to go back to you for a minute before we go. Okay.
What?
You said that you were extremely... You were always extremely cautious about saying it? Is that what you're saying?
Yes, I was. I was always very cautious of saying I love you. I always felt like I had this sort of this moral code where I cannot lie because I detest other people that are liars so much. And so it's just like this moral core thing. And if I said I love you and I didn't feel it, that would make me a bad person. Or more of a bad person than I already was. This is in the former days. I'm getting over those feelings, but that to me was like the biggest thing in life is to love somebody else, to say I love you. It's like, what bigger and more important thing in life is there? I'm not going to waste that on something that's just mediocre or that I don't fully mean. It's like, if I say I love you, I mean the full of you. The bad you, the smelly you, the beautiful you, the strong you, the weak you, the child that you are, the person I get annoyed with. I love all of that, and that will take some time for me to discover who that is.
Yes, I'm. This.
And for Jeff, you just needed to be hot.
I was about to say something nice about you. Okay. Yeah, I'm a flawed vessel. Okay. Yes. We were, I won't go into extraordinary detail about this, but we were in Karlovy at the film
Carlsbad,
festival.
where we then got engaged last year.
Where we got engaged last year. And the reason I wanted to get engaged there is because that is where, after a really silly and somewhat like spurious argument, which gathered way too much momentum, I got very upset, very emotional. You said that to me.
I said a version of that, a much better version of that, and I went on quite lengthily about what love for him means to me, and he. But the thing is, you heard that, you took it in. It's not like I haven't tried to express to others what my love meant, and there were others that sort of reacted with, "What are you talking about? I don't have any bad parts."
Oh man!
I worked really hard on myself.
I eliminated all
my bad parts. I don't know what you're talking about,
man.
Whoops. So yeah, I didn't do my research in obviously in where I placed my love, but now, for the first time that we actually said I love you,
you want to
to
tell
each
yes,
other.
Why don't you tell that story?
And this ends up, I mean, I guess it's not really, it's sort of not a high note, really, because after insisting on him not saying it, and then spending so much time together and increasing, I mean, I did kind of know that you were possibly the man that I had been looking for on the third sentence of our first text when you said, I've always loved the Roman Empire ever since I saw I, Claudius when I was 13. And I was like, fuck, this is the guy. This is the guy.
Chicks dig that.
Oh, and here's my phone number.
Yeah, okay. That's...
You didn't know that, but
No.
you know, who
would know that 8 years of Latin and a fascination with the Emperor Julian and watching I, Claudius, which 13-year-olds, by the way, should really not watch.
No, it's a little
rough.
risque.
Also,
Yeah.
by the way, wait, let's plug it. The best television miniseries ever made.
It really is. It's so fit. The
There you go.
acting,
Go watch it.
Oh
There's
my
only,
God.
what are they, 10
It
of
does
them?
look like a really shitty
It does.
soap opera,
Doesn't
but
matter.
unbelievable.
The writing and the acting is so next level. Anyway, so we bonded over that.
Yeah. Anyway, so
okay.
3 months later, we haven't said the words. We keep rolling our eyeballs at each other, you know, like
Googly eyes at each other.
There's a lot of smiling, and there's a lot of sort of sighs and sort of amorous, like, or is it almost time? Like, there's a lot of that, which is actually kind of sexy.
It's super sexy, but also something, I guess we can't get around this, and this is wildly specific to us, so I apologize for what I'm about to say. The podcasts, the interviews you did.
Oh, that's right.
Here's what happened. We haven't talked about this, right? We have not talked about this.
I hope not.
Okay, I hope not. If we have, call us out.
Forewind.
Oh, you know, yes. Okay. Okay. When we got together, I was aware that I was with someone who is a notable person. And I also was aware, and you said this to me early on, like, do you want to just date on the down low? Because understand that if we are out as a couple, then that's going to mean some changes for you.
Well, it's going to mean that you're going to get a lot of scrutiny that you're not used to.
Yeah, and I've said this so many times on this show. I am not a performer. I have no desire to be famous. All of the work that I've done has been through speaking, you know, using pretty people as sock puppets for my concerns. I feel that pretty people should be talking and I should be writing their lines. That's fine. I've never had any desire to be famous. Not interested. But I understood that being the boyfriend of a noted beauty and supermodel and someone with 1.3 million Instagram followers at the time might result in some changes. And you said so. You warned me that it would result in that. And I said, you know what? My first reaction was, all right, you can keep it on the down low for now. And then an odd thing happened. Am I telling this story correctly?
Yes, but you were making it really long. So
I'm making it really long. Speed it up, baby. Well, that's right. We only have 13 minutes left. Speed it up. You did 2 podcast interviews back to back with 2 friends of yours. And in one of them, you said, I'm single. I'm putting myself out on some dating apps. I'm really hoping to meet someone. The second one, which was several weeks later, you said, I have met someone. I really like him, but it's early days. Right? Mm-hmm. They aired out of order. Mm-hmm. I heard them out of order, and it really hurt my heart. And so I said to you, I need to be real in your life. And I understand that that's going to have some consequences, but I'm up for it because you're that important to me. And I don't want to be on the down low. I don't want to be a shadowy figure. So let's figure out how we're going to do this. And so you, being an expert in managing
my page,
you understanding how social media works, you had an idea of how this was going to work and how we were going to do it. And that, for those of you who haven't seen it, we were going to post deleting Raya at the same time, deleting the app, and you saying this is what love looks like in the 21st century. And then we would post a picture of us together, and people would comment on how gay I look. Okay, it's fine. Or, you know,
or what religion you may be.
Religion, or my lack of hair, or googly blue eyes. They had any number of things to say. I was ready for it. By the way, I will also say I spoke to my son about it. Like, because I knew that this would have ramifications. Your family is accustomed to being a family member of a public figure. My family's not. So I spoke to my siblings and my son before this. Anyway, we had a plan of how we were going to do this. We were going to do this in Paris on May 3rd, 2023. We're in Paris together. I had never been to Paris, most romantic city on the planet. Here's where we're going to do it. We were getting ready to go to dinner on May 2nd,
Correct.
the night before the grand unveiling. And we're getting dressed to go to this beautiful dinner at this restaurant that your Papa Joe had recommended. And it just surged up in me, and I told you.
Well, actually, that's not entirely how it went.
Go.
We were sitting on the couch
I
in
remember
this
the couch.
Airbnb,
Yes.
which is a lovely place in the 6th arrondissement in Saint-Germain. And I sat there, and I thought I was going to throw up. I was so nervous because I felt like I'm going to tell him tonight. I'm going to tell him. Like this was like I'm going to tell him I love him.
I just shook this because I was reaching for your hand.
Yeah, you totally shook our mics.
Go ahead.
I was like, I felt it. I knew it was the right thing to say. I knew I loved him, and so I was going to say it, and it just felt so difficult. It really was like it was like lodged in my throat.
Like fighting? You were fighting?
I was fighting to say it. Like I had been thinking about it for so long. It became such a thing, to say it, that it became almost unsurmountable. And I'm sitting on his couch and I'm like sweating, and I have makeup on and I have this beautiful dress on, and we're
Yes.
going to this fancy restaurant, and I'm like sitting there and I'm sweating and I'm shaky, and I'm like, I'm going to have a panic attack. And then I did have a panic attack. And you came and you sat down on the couch and you looked at me, and I said, and you're like, are you okay? And I'm like, yeah, I'm fine. I'm going to be fine. It's just that, and you kind of just looked at me and you went, darling, I know. I love you too. And I did, and then that was it. It just opened the door.
That is how it happened. Yes.
Hey, so you said it first, but it's only because like I was literally like going to
Because
vomit
you
it.
waved me to home plate. That's why. This time I'm rounding third and you waved me on.
That's true. I was definitely making a point of like, it can be said now.
Guys.
But I really wanted to say it myself. I did because
You wanted to say it first?
Well, I do. I'm the one who asked
I
you
know,
for a
you
date.
did, I know.
I'm the one who leaned in and kissed you first. I'm the one who took you home. I'm the one that,
Correct.
I am the little
yeah,
propeller.
but I know, but you've always said back to me that you wanted to be chosen.
Well, that was for engagement. But in my life, the two men that I fell for, maybe 2.5 men, they chose me. And this time, I absolutely and clearly and indisputably chose Jeff. And I like that. I like that this was
Yeah.
my choice. Like, this was an educated choice. This wasn't just like, childhood trauma calling me back. This is like, no, I've learned. I can do better. I know what I'm looking for. This man has everything I'm looking for, and I'm going to fucking nail it. And the only thing I couldn't do was say, I love you first.
I think we did it right.
Well, it turns out, guys, 3 years later, it seems like we did the right thing. But, 10 years from now,
What?
we'll see. It's for now.
Here comes for now. I know, for now.
It's
Here it is.
good for now. Nothing lasts.
Also, guys, if you have the choice to do it in Paris.
Oh yeah, that doesn't sound entitled and spoiled and privileged,
it's disgusting.
right?
It's disgusting that I'm
Ew.
saying that.
So if you have the choice to go to an exotic location to say I love you 3 months later, we highly recommend it. Would you like to play some bass?
That sounded very bad. The way that was really made me sound bad. I'm just saying it was quite a thing to have this moment and then walk out into the lights of Paris. It could not have possibly been better. Like our engagement story, which we'll get to in episode 100.
Our engagement story ended up being a little bit more janky, which is why it's a story, because otherwise it'd just be like, oh, it's so
and then he
nice.
did this, and then
The fact is, we're incredibly privileged and entitled in the way that we don't take things for granted. So I think that maybe skips a little bit on the entitlement, but I think just the idea that we can is an entitlement, and the privilege of having choices. It's something that I wake up and I'm like, grateful to the universe, God, whatever is out there, like on a daily basis, because we've had the opposite. So like we also know what that's like. So yes, we are in a fantastic position, and being able to travel
Oh, yeah.
to whisper "I love you" across the globe.
Yes.
I mean, fuck.
Well said.
Thought I'd drive that
Okay,
one home.
you know what? We're coming to the end of our
Yes.
hour, so this entire episode has been about I love you. I want to ask you, because we are
If I love you,
So great. He's so great. Okay. Does it still have heft and meaning when you hear it or say it today, 3 years in? Does it still mean something?
I love you.
Yeah.
I think it's even weightier and even
so
more
glad you said that.
precious, and even it's kind of like these three miracle words that when that feeling wells up in me, and I look at you and I look at your cornflower blue eyes, and I think all that you mean to me, you're like crying.
I'm going to lose it. Well, but what we have, I will say this, the words are very meaningful still. It still means a lot. And I know what you're saying about like they have gained in weight and dimension because of what we are still trying to build together. That's really remarkable. I consider this a miracle. I really thought before we met that I had a pretty good idea of what the last 20 good summers were going to be like. They would have been kind of C- actually.
There would have been 20 okay
20
summers.
okay summers. And then a miracle happened to me. Meeting you, falling in love with you, building a life with you at this point is astonishing. And
it's possible. And it's
yes.
possible. It's possible to be, I mean, gosh, me at 50, saddest birthday ever.
Same.
Me at 53, me at 55, utterly lost and no idea what I was going to do with my life and money. And I mean, everything was just, everything was so bleak. And to come out at 60 and just have this, and first, and with that, I mostly mean love and health, and the ability to control. Because we sure did a lot of that.
Shamelessly, the worst.
Oh my God, we're
this
so sorry.
This will all be played back to us on TikTok. What are you going to do?
Well, yeah.
At least I'm
so
not
lucky.
playing the upright bass. That's the only thing. That's the only.
In next episode.
In the next episode, the upright bass. Wait, I had a beautiful thought in mind, and it has now evaporated. Well, you probably already articulated it.
Are we going to say I love you to our listeners? But it's a small I love
this is
you.
what I
It's
was
like
gonna
a
say.
je t'aime bien.
Je t'aime bien. 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 Je t'aime bien.
He really can't do
I'm working
accents.
on it. This is what I was going to say. What we just said about the miracle of finding love at this point in life has come back to us in dozens and dozens of emails that we've heard from people who also found it and appreciate it with the gravity
Yeah.
that you just described, which sounds so leaden and boring when you're talking about falling in love. But when you are seasoned, when you are experienced, when you've had heartbreak, when you've had disappointment, and then you find this, and
Yeah.
you discover you can trust it, that you can lean upon it, it is a miracle. And so it is why we talk about, waking up with gratitude every day. It's astonishing.
Very well said. And so on this note,
Wait, I have one
really?
more. Well, I have a couple more things to say before you say on this note.
Well,
don't you want to tell them how to find us and stuff?
well, no, when I say on this note,
Yes, go ahead.
This is like the end of the blah, 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 blah part of the podcast
Yes.
where we talk about ourselves and how endlessly entertaining we are. And now, Jeff,
We'll get this right. I promise.
Or
We'll get this
not.
right. How do they find us? Well, if you go to 20 Good Summers Pod on Instagram, we post stuff there every once in a while, telling you about upcoming episodes, clips from episodes, photographs, previews of coming attractions, and so forth. 20 Good Summers Pod. 20 is always spelled out. Okay. You could go to 20goodsummers.com. Okay? That is our website where you can find all of our episodes and an exciting new feature which debuted last night.
Oh, yes.
Merch.
We have merch, guys. Thanks to Keith Greenstein, the funny Greenstein, we have merch.
My insanely talented brother, who is responsible for our logo and everything, has now put the logo on socks and coffee cups and lunchboxes and t-shirts. And guys, this is not a money-making operation. It is just for fun. Playing cards. Like, it's just for fun.
I'm going to
See
get
it,
some of those.
Enjoy it. Tell us what you like. Send us pictures of yourselves wearing our swag. It would make us really, really happy. It's the merch page on 20goodsummers.com. You can also find, in addition to the episodes, there's a link to a contact page. If you want to email us, that's one way to do it. The other way is to go 20goodsummers@gmail.com. They all go to the same bin. We love hearing from you. I feel sad that we're tackling like one, maybe 2 emails per episode because we have dozens upon dozens. Know that we read them all. P responds to tons of them. They give us ideas for future episodes and future discussions. And are you getting the dog?
He's tapping me.
Oh, here he comes.
He was tapping me.
A lot of
so
people clamor
there.
for our producer, Ludwig von Dog. Ludwig, the Mad King. Oh God, there he goes. Don't give him this kind of attention. No, look at him. Also, he's been told never to lick.
Yes, usually he just licks the air around you, but because I picked him up, he now
he
feels
thinks,
entitled.
Look, all right. Those of you who stayed with us for the hour got an extra treat. Look at this absurd creature. That's, hey. Oh, God. All right, talk about something we love.
Yes. So Jeff, do you want to take this away with one last super meaningful, super smart?
Yes, here it is.